Hi, it's Sue Greenwald here with Awakened Stories. I'm here today with Deanna Carr with the Mystical Moonlight. Hey, Deanna, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So today we're going to do some Q&A follow-up. So this is either my follow-up questions or those that are viewers that have had questions that I've kind of collected. So the first topic is Ben Franklin. So we did this video a few months ago, and we determined that Ben Franklin was a reptilian. He was a cannibal, he was satanic, he was a pedophile, and he also did not invent all the stuff that we've been so excited about him inventing. So he was a liar on top of that. And I think we said he was a spy. Like, is there anything else we could add in there that was, like he was a bad guy?
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know how, he kind of hit all of the top-notch bad guy stuff, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure how much higher it can go, but
Yeah.
I'm sure people can figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the question from a viewer was he always a reptilian like his whole life? Did he do those practices his whole life? Or only after he met with the Freemasons? So, if my memory serves, he founded a couple secret societies himself, and he
hmm
joined several, like I think there was one in France and one in England and blah, 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 blah. So he was in like probably four secret societies, which I'm assuming were satanic kind of societies. So the question was he always a reptilian or only after the Freemasons had their way with them?
I don't see him practicing it at a young age. I see it happening more around the teenage years, and that could be when he started to dabble in the secret societies.
Okay.
Now, secret societies aren't like back then, they're a lot different than we think of them these days. Um, because you're like, well, how do you even find out about that? I mean, and they didn't have technology, so it's literally you just kind of stumble upon it.
Yep.
Um, so the intro societies were really what got him into it because they did have some theories and themes that went on more of that satanic side. But he was intrigued by them. So he did start practicing about that time. And I'm going to say that's like early teenage years, like super early teenage years that he stumbled upon it. Um, and that's really what got him into it. And then he switched to that reptilian side. Like he wasn't born reptilian, he was brought into it.
Ah, okay.
That can happen. Um, and we've seen evidence throughout, even celebrities on stage doing their initiation to the Reptilian Society. So it is something that you can get switched into. It is a little bit harder for you to be switched out because that's really not an option. Once you're in, you're in.
Okay. All right. So we know he was basically very prominent and, theoretically, okay, so we don't know what the true history is yet, but he was prominent in the development of the country of United States. All right.
Yeah.
So he signed the Declaration of Independence along with other documents. I mean, he was like instrumental in a lot of things, or so we're told. Okay. So
Yeah.
what was his objective in signing the Declaration of Independence and being involved with that?
Well, not only is it a huge timestamp, like he's also placing his orders on a whole country pretty much, right? We still utilize this document to this day. So his name is now known throughout time, even if you don't bring in any of his inventions, right? It is something that has put his name across the board, and it is something that people still awe about, right? Um, so there's a few factors in why he did it, but it was also to keep up the appearance, right? So he had this, I bring these inventions, they help utilize, they're used in society, they help make society better, and I do all these things that help our society. Why not have you be one of these signers that is creating this society. Now, as we all know, America is not as great as, people are taught or led to believe, but this was a way for them to make people think that this was going to be a phenomenal country because he utilized his inventions to make it push forward in society. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically it was kind of it was kind of a facade, right?
Hmm.
So he
Yes.
wanted to appear as this like really altruistic guy helping the people when in reality they wanted to enslave the people, but they wanted the people to do things their way. They wanted to control them, it sounds like.
Hmm.
So this
Yes.
was kind of a front, which, we like to think we're following that Constitution, but we're kind of not. So,
No, we break that a lot, even though they say it's our constitutional rights. Most of the stuff we do, we're not even supposed to have IDs,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we have IDs.
yeah. And we're seeing it more and more out in the videos and all of that the Constitution is broken all the time, and they get away with it like they're supported. So it's a corrupt system. Now, you had
Mhm.
told us that there was a world, like a declaration or let's call it a document that was signed before Ben Franklin and the Declaration of Independence. And I think this might be a topic for another video, but I talked to King Smarty briefly about it, and he said there were actually four different documents prior. And he said that
Mhm.
they were world documents. I think you said that as well. But he said it was basically uniting the people of our world against we'll call it the reptilians or the dark ones. And so we had these documents, and of course, our civilization was wiped out.
Yeah.
So no one knows about these documents, including us.
And most likely they were destroyed.
Yeah. I,
I
I
mean,
think,
they don't want evidence leading
yeah,
back to it.
yeah,
And if you think about how every country is, it's always fighting, it's always war-based. There is no peace. And when there is peace, somebody starts up nonsense
yep,
to cause war.
yep,
And I've seen posts about this before. They're like, in my whole life, I don't think I've ever seen a time of no
right,
destruction, no war.
right.
And that is what they want. They want us to utilize all our resources. They want us to destroy the planet because we have to think not every being likes peace. Not every being likes quiet, and that's what most people are searching for.
Yeah,
We were just watching Zathura. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Um, one of the alien species that come onto their ship is a basic reptilian, right? And they have destroyed their own planet because all they like is meat and they like fire. And they destroyed their whole planet. So now they go through planet to planet finding meat and fire.
yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think this is a good topic for another video to focus on because the last reset is fascinating, and I think it's so um like we're unraveling it as we speak, right?
Yeah.
So so for those that don't know, when we do these videos, like we're told the topic to do. Like I do collect people's ideas and things, and I often think them myself, but I'm kind of told what order to do things in. So we're unraveling things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And
very
it's very
interesting.
complex.
Yeah.
Very complex.
Yeah. Now, is there anything else we should ask about Ben Franklin that we haven't already said? Murder, cannibal, a liar, not an inventor, by the way, like we said,
Pretty
spy.
much everything you think about him is incorrect. And this is really what starts shaping America, right? This point in time is when all these people come together, they sign this document, and this is what's going to propel America forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so having these people that have a great persona of being well liked, helpful, but in the back end, all they want is destruction, war, all the nasty stuff, that is what it is built on. And usually you don't see the remnants of it until later on.
Right.
And usually when we talk about, people coming and, taking over a country, it's to propel their ideals of what something should be, taking over the natural resources, taking over the natural humans and beings in that land and utilizing them for what they want. So
Mhm.
nothing good comes from it. And we've seen this across the board in
Right.
every country.
Right.
I can't think of one that has not been destroyed by somebody else.
Right. Right. So like I said, I think this is coming out. We're starting to unravel the edges. So we'll be talking more about these topics as time allows. But to me, it's
Yes.
fascinating because I feel like I'm on the precipice of really understanding so much more, right, about
Mhm.
our history. And it's not really the history, it's the deception we've been taught, how big
Yes.
the deception is. It's huge,
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
deep.
Yeah. So we still have a couple more minutes. So let's talk about Mozart because that was a really popular video. We got lots of comments and all of that. It was very popular. All right. So, question. So we said that Mozart was a child prodigy and he was very
Mhm.
musically talented. His father recognized that and took him around to various courts throughout Europe as a child to play. And that's correct. His father was not a bad guy. He was just like kind of capitalizing on that skill, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
when you don't have a skill and you see the potential to earn and you're on the poor spectrum,
Mhm.
yes, you're going to capitalize. And I mean, it's still sought to this day. I mean, think about, even celebrities, their parents put them into these roles so that way they can earn off of them. So it is not something that has died off. It is still something that is very
Yep.
active in even our society today.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So the father wasn't bad. He was just like ambitious, we'll say.
Hmm.
So here's a couple points that we talked about toward the end of that video. Mozart was black. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a big deal, right? All right, so we're shown this guy with, they have the curly hair, the wig or whatever, and the fancy clothes. All of that was a lie. Again, another
Hmm.
lie. All right. Did the dark forces that took over Mozart's music, did they know who he was as a child?
They did know who he was. They could sense the energy. Now, kind of talked about this. Energy, sound healing is such a great way
Mhm.
to heal one's soul, to bring back memories, and so on and so forth. Um, but you also leave this huge footprint. Um, and what happens is he had this talent to bring in this energy to heal people at a young age, but that did put them on their radar. They could see the energetic spike and they knew what was going on.
Right.
So he was on their radar from the jump.
Right. That's what I suspected. And so we all have an energetic signature, okay, or
Mhm.
a vibration, a frequency, an aura, whatever you want to call it. And of course, the reptilian slash dark forces have had technology for billions with a B, way longer than we even know about. And
Mhm.
they're there in their tunnels or wherever they are, back rooms of their castle, whatever, their hidden rooms. And they can scan a person and figure out if they're special in some way or not.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to think about it. I mean, we do that today too.
I
I
know.
mean, think about how many of you have stopped utilizing your gifts. Now, this goes across the board. You just kind of stop. You don't know why. You're just like, I need to stop.
Yeah.
And you go on with life. It's because your energy is too strong in that moment. And your internal instinct was saying,
Yeah.
shut it down
Yeah.
because it's not the right time.
Right.
And we've all had that where we just kind of get distracted with life and like, wait, why haven't I been doing this? And then all of a sudden you go back and you start utilizing your gifts again.
Right.
Your body is naturally telling you to shut it down before they get you.
Right.
And I know this sounds crazy to a lot of you, but it is something that is across the board. Worked with so many people, even myself. You just kind of naturally stop for a moment and then you pick it back up.
Right. Right.
Um, and this was something that it spirituality, understanding energetic fields wasn't always a known thing. I mean, they started to understand it a little bit, but we have so much more evidence of the spiritual energetic fields. I mean, we even have cameras that take pictures of it nowadays. So it is something that is brought into the picture more often, and it's something that we utilize and realize
Right.
before
So
they do.
King Smarty and I have talked about this, and we call it flying in under the radar. So when we were born
Mhm.
here on Earth, some of us had gifts and abilities, which it's a higher or a brighter energetic
Mhm.
field. Let's call it vibratory field. And we kind of dampened that field so that we would be able to like live until the time was right now, and our field opens up, our consciousness
Mhm.
increases, and now we're here, right? And
Yep.
that's what's
Yep.
happening. And a lot of us guys, the group, are waking up consciously.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
exciting. Yeah. So that's they knew his energetic field and they knew he was special. Now,
Mhm.
you had told us that they basically, we'll call it corrupted his compositions. All right,
Yep.
so I think you said it was mostly the strings. So he would write it, and it was supposed to be perfect music, but they would like say, "Oh, well, do this or that." I think you said it was mostly strings. All right, so that music has a different vibration, and I'm thinking that is a lower vibration in some sort.
Mhm.
But you implied that it was addictive, that it made people really want to hear the music, like they were addicted to that music. Is that true? Okay.
Think about it today. We still utilize this, and it is across the board. If you've put on the radio, you hate the song, and then all of a sudden you can't stop singing it. Now, part of that is, it's so repetitive. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I gotta sing it, right? But you have to think, like, at one point you hated it.
Yeah.
Now you actually enjoy it. You
Yeah.
like when it comes on because you're singing it. It was the same thing. It was just a different form of music, but the same concept is still utilized today where they use specific notes, keys, even words, and the way that they use their vocalization to alter the
Yeah.
sounds and the mindset that we are picking
Right.
up.
Right. Yeah. So back then again, only the wealthy people were able to go to these operas and these shows, I assume.
Hmm.
So, when we read, like, say, Wikipedia or whatever, we're told that Mozart brought opera to the masses. Okay, he brought it so that the average person can enjoy that music. Well, that's what they were doing is they opened up the music for, we'll call it the common person, and then they would become addicted and then want to go to more shows, I would guess. So there
Yeah.
was a financial component there, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
How can you spend your money and not have it?
yeah,
And how can we get you addicted to it that you want to go, you don't care what it takes. And like I said, it was different then. Like they didn't have the radio. Like they would have to, make their own like music themselves. There was no way to share it. You listen to it in that moment.
right.
And not everybody could afford an instrument, so it was a little bit different because what we have today is completely different.
Hmm. Okay. So, somebody asked, is it a bad idea to listen to his music today? Because, pretty much every song that's recorded now is changed or corrupted, we'll say. Okay.
Yeah.
They do spells on them. They change the frequency of the notes and all sorts of things. So every song on the radio or in the movies or whatever is already corrupted. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not getting away from that at this moment. I mean, it's breaking now. We're aware of it, but that's why, like you explained, we'll listen to a song we hate, but we hear it three, four times, then we start to hum along
Hmm.
with it. We start to like it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that as a teenager, and I'd be like, "What's happening to me?" Because I hate that song, yet I know every
Mm,
word, you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's hard because that is like the music industry is a very dark industry.
yeah,
There's been documentaries on it. There have been people that, they die in the music industry. Um, but it's crazy because it's something that we all enjoy.
yeah, yeah,
We all like the music industry, but we
yeah,
all hate the industry.
yeah,
Um, so it's hard. I mean, if you want to listen to music that's not corrupt, it's going to be a little bit challenging right now until
yeah,
it alters.
yeah,
Um, and finding a good artist, even so, we go through the internet, there's still ways they can corrupt stuff.
yeah,
So this is where you just have to either use your protection,
yeah,
say like, I'm not stupid, I know what's going on.
yeah,
Um, and we're at a higher consciousness so we can see it. So even though we might watch these shows that have a lower vibrational pattern, we're still understanding
yeah,
what they're doing. And honestly, sometimes it gives you more insight in how they work.
yeah,
And I know going back into, see how they work, you're like, well, am and I going to become under their spell and everything? When you're a higher vibrational pattern, no, you are able to break free from it. I think it's really smart to understand how they work so you understand how to get out of that
right,
grasp.
right,
Um, and a lot of people are like, well, if it's negative, I need to stay away from it. Yes, stay away from it, but understand how it works so you can see the pattern in other areas and either avoid or figure out
right,
how to detach from it.
yeah, yeah. And now, what about like, say, well, let's call it yoga music, instrumental music. It's very light, it's very beautiful music. No, it's not like commercially popular. That's still
Yeah.
corrupted as well, right? So even if something's recorded and the artist isn't corrupt, they have a way of corrupting the music itself.
Yeah. You're going through systems. I mean, think about it. I mean, there's always an extra layer. Like
Mhm.
even putting on YouTube, it has to get drawn into YouTube
Yeah,
and then you have to find it and then it gets played through
yeah,
YouTube. So there's easy ways that they can just add an extra layer on top of it
yep,
to alter certain patterns.
yep,
Um, it really, I mean, other forms are a little bit different, like, depending on the platform you're looking at. But for the most part, all of them have this extra layer that is going to corrupt it in a sense. They're all run off of an algorithm. I
okay,
mean,
yep,
there's just so much to it.
yep.
It is kind of on the complex side.
Okay. Is there anything else I haven't asked about Mozart or you haven't told us that would be interesting to know? In one sentence or less, we said that
Yeah.
he died at age 35. He died too young because he had basically we'll call it an alien brain and a human body, and the
Yes.
body was weaker than the brain could handle, I guess is a good way to say it. Um,
Yeah.
so he died young, but he was basically pure, just trying to be free and live and follow
Hmm.
his passion, right?
Yeah. And this is where across the board again, as you can see everywhere, a lot of artists that are seeking to be creative but have success tend to get into this dark path.
Yeah,
It's not anything against them, it's just the industry.
right.
And for somebody to become wildly successful, usually there is a price to pay, which is something that we have also seen over and over and over
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah,
Now that there's systems like YouTube, it's a little bit easier for people to become really popular without having to be part of an industry.
yeah.
Whereas in the past, you had to have somebody with wealth and money to invest
Sponsor
in
you.
you
Yeah,
to, yes, to
yeah,
sponsor you to get better.
yeah.
So things are changing and they're shifting. It's just there's still a lot of it out there. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I remember about 12 years ago we had this conversation and it went something like this. We realized that the prison systems are privately owned. And so the prison owners, if you will, got all the rap guys into a room and they
Mm,
said, hey, we want you to start, rapping about violence and all this stuff. And a couple guys stood up and said, we're not going to do it. And they were either threatened or killed, remember? And
yeah.
then that's when we see rap music take a really dark turn. And the lyrics are so dark, but it incites violence against others and, in a
Mm,
certain demographic, right, that listens to that. And then what happens? They get arrested and then they go to jail. And then the jail owners get money from the state and the federal, right?
hmm
So, yeah,
Yeah.
music is very powerful and they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do know.
All right. One last little question. I don't know if I asked or not before. Ben Franklin. All right. Was he white or was he black?
He is black.
Black. I might have asked that, but I don't remember. Like, isn't this blowing your mind?
Well, what happens is most of the time we are in a society, at least America. Now, I know this is different in different countries. They say America is one of the worst countries that splits up the demographics like crazy. And it's true on all of our paperwork, they ask you what ethnicity, like you have to state it. Even if you're born in America, you have to state what ethnicity you are, which is ridiculous. Um, but they want it to be seen as white Caucasian people are above everybody else. So if they put all of these people that have a high reputation as whites, they are already saying this is what it's like. If you want to have royalty, you have to be white. If you want to have the education, you have to be white. So
Right.
even now in society, we still have this. I mean, there's still racism like crazy. Um, and it was something that was pushed upon because there are queens and kings that were black, even in the UK, even in other countries. But if they just do an outline, they're not erasing the person, they're erasing the ethnicity.
Yeah.
And at least in America, they don't want the ethnicity to be understood that it is,
Yeah.
some other ethnicity. And the craziest part is most people, I think what was the statistic? It's like by 2040, over half the population is going to be mixed. Like even if you look into your DNA, usually you're mixed with other ethnicities, but we just are going off of skin tone, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I said, at least in America, that's how it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess the reason I want to point that out is because, again, we're unraveling the truth. And we're seeing photos of the black royalty throughout Europe, and we're hearing how America was already, populated before it was discovered and all that. They're trying to change our history.
Yeah,
And doing videos like this is hopefully awakening people so that they realize that they have been lied to. So,
yeah,
yeah. All right, Dee. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your help. And I appreciate it. And we'll talk again.
of course. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.